So DICE revealed the latest update on the development cycle of Battlefield 2042 just the other day. Apologies for the delay on this video. I was a little bit under the weather, so I thought I'd wait until I could actually make a proper video on it. But what we're going to be talking about today is mostly what it means for the game moving forward. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. But with that being said, let's get stuck right into it. So firstly, I'm just going to go through what they talked about in the development update. It was only about a 2-minute or so little trailer, so there's not a crazy amount of information in it. But what they talked about is definitely very interesting. Now, the first thing they kind of mentioned is that Season 6 won't actually be starting until October, which is obviously about 6 weeks from now, even though Season 5 is essentially finished. Update 5.2 is obviously live, meaning that is the final update for the season, and then 5.2.1 actually went live just hours before this little development video went live. So even though that is pretty much it for all of the Season 5 updates, we are still 6 weeks away now from Season 6, which is definitely a bit of an interesting thing to think about. Now, in those 6 weeks, there's not just going to be no content at all. What they're going to be doing is pretty much a little bit of a rehash of all of the mid-season events from Season 2, 3, and 4, bringing back all of those limited time modes that have been rebalanced, and they're going to be on more maps as well. And on top of those modes, there's also going to be a lot of those like exclusive bundles and cosmetics that were available during those limited time modes, which are going to be coming back to the store and even being earnable through playing. So if you guys missed any of the stuff during Season 2, 3, and 4, whether it was just the limited time modes themselves or some of those skins that you may have really wanted to get but you just didn't end up buying, well, a lot of that stuff is going to be coming back in the next 6 weeks. Now, overall, I think this is a pretty decent idea personally. Some of those limited time modes were not the best, if I'm honest, but some of them were really enjoyed by the community, and really the only thing lacking with most of them was a little bit of balancing, which obviously they've said they've rebalanced the modes. So I think that is a pretty cool idea, especially bringing back a lot of those skins, because there were some really good skins that a lot of us probably didn't buy, but maybe now that they're gone, we want to get them. And so I think that is a pretty cool touch from DICE. Now, with that being said, I do have a few issues with essentially the entire announcement and the 6-week delay, which we're going to get into right now. So the first issue that I sort of have is that I feel like they gas this up a little bit too much. They tend to announce their announcements instead of just coming out and saying, hey guys, here's what we're doing. Season 6 is going to be 6 weeks away from now and blah, 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 blah. They tend to sort of announce that, hey guys, there's a trailer coming up. Stay tuned for some big exciting news, which obviously hypes us all up, because most times when a company does that, it is generally pretty big news. That's the type of thing that a lot of dev studios out there will do when they're announcing their new game. For example, Call of Duty, just in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they've sort of done the same thing where they pretty much announced, like, keep your eyes peeled, we're going to be announcing something big very soon, and then they announced Modern Warfare 3. So that's obviously very big news that is probably warranting announcing the announcement, if that makes sense. But when it comes to something like this, I don't think they need to announce it, because it's only going to get people's hopes up. For me personally, I don't tend to really get my hopes up or exaggerate what I think is going to happen. But every time they do announce these announcements or these like little trailers and stuff that go up on the YouTube channels, I tend to start thinking, okay, like they're gassing this up a little bit. What's this going to be about? And you definitely pay a little bit more interest, only for it to be a bit of a letdown, because they've set those expectations pretty damn high. For me personally, when I heard that they were putting out this development update, I'm starting to think, okay, like we don't know what's beyond Season 6, so I guess we're going to find out about if we're getting Season 7, potentially if the game is going to be cancelled after Season 6. The title of development update sounds pretty big. That sounds like there's something big that they need to update us on, when in reality, they've just delayed it by pretty much a month by the time Season 5 ends. And realistically, that could have just been a tweet. They could have just said Season 6 will be starting in October. We'll tell you guys more when the time comes. Instead, they gas it up. They put it on the YouTube channel. They put a countdown timer on it and everything. And it gets people very intrigued, only for it to be a very minute piece of information. So I do have a bit of an issue with that. I think a lot of people have been disappointed, like all over Twitter and in different Discord servers and stuff that I'm in. A lot of people are a little bit like disappointed, not like dramatically disappointed. I think most people are fairly happy with what the actual announcement was, but I think a lot of people, myself included, just kind of thought this was going to be bigger news than it really was. Now, the sort of second issue that I have is that this makes it feel a little bit like Season 6 could be the last one. The fact that we've got Season 5 and then they're kind of going like, all right guys, let's go back and look through all the fun stuff we did from Season 2 to Season 4, and then we're going to release Season 6, which is going to start in October, meaning it will end at the end of December, and potentially that is going to be the end of the game. So for me, it is definitely just a little bit worrying. Going back through all of the old content seems like something a company is going to do when the game is coming to an end. If they were absolutely certain internally that we're getting season 7 and 8, you'd think they would do this sort of thing at the end of season 8, for example, to be a proper look back on the entire like live service. And so if we are going to get season 7 and 8, it's kind of weird they're doing this right now, unless it is just to get the timing of the seasons to change or something like that, which could potentially be a very real possibility. I'm sure if you guys have played a lot of Battlefield games and just DICE games in general, you'll know that over the Christmas break, they do have a very extended break. I think it is about a month that they take off from the middle of December to the middle of January. That is something that is pretty much common in Sweden and just a lot of European countries. And so that is a very real possibility that maybe they just wanted to push back season 6 to be in line with their holidays, because let's just say we are getting season 7. If it was on the current like timeline, the middle of the season would be during that Christmas break, which they obviously can't really do anything if they're on their Christmas vacation. So there is a real possibility that even though I'm worried this could be pointing at the end of the game, maybe they are just doing it to line it up a little bit better, and then obviously season 7 would start in January and it would just be all timed a little bit nicer. So it is pretty hard to tell what they're getting at here. For me, I tend to just kind of go towards the more worried state of mind when it comes to Battlefield, just because obviously this game has launched pretty damn poorly, and although it's in a really good spot now, the eventual reality is that the game will get cancelled at some point. And I think I just always tend to lean towards that when they don't announce season 7 or season 8. And because that's kind of what I was thinking could happen in this development update, the fact they didn't say anything about those does definitely make me very worried. But again, on the flip side, it could literally just be down to getting the timing a little bit better. So like I said, the actual update itself, there wasn't too much to go through there. The actual season 6 stuff we're going to be hearing about when the time's right. The only thing they really showed off was a little snippet of the map, which looks pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be maybe a night map, maybe set in a forest somewhere, but that's really all we know, and we're going to find out more about season 6 closer to its launch. But as for what the development update could be implying for the future, I thought it was very interesting. I am very keen to hear what you guys think. Are you guys a little bit on the same wavelength as me that this feels as though the game's coming towards its end, or are you a little bit more optimistic in thinking they're just getting the timing right, and then season 7 and whatever they do beyond that will be starting from January next year? So be sure to leave your comments down below. I'm keen to hear what you guys think. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.